Good morning and welcome to Football League World TV. We've got an Under the Microscope show here for you on the channel. We're going to be taking a look at Barnsley versus Reading this Saturday. A massive game in the Sky Bet Championship. Two sides down in the relegation mix right now. Barnsley currently in 22nd place. The Royals just above them in 21st position. Only 5 points separate both sides as we approach the real business end of the season. My name is Sam Rourke, the chief editor of footballleagueworld.co.uk, and I'm joined by a Reading fan and a Barnsley fan. We've got Johnny Hunt in the Royals corner this morning and Andy Symcox in the Tykes corner. Johnny, how are you getting on this morning?
Good, mate. The nerves are kicking in. A bit of COVID going on as well at the minute. So, just counting down the days for Saturday.
Yeah, big game. Andy, how are you getting on, mate?
I've been a lot worse, Sam. A lot worse. Can't quite remember when, but I'm sure I've been worse.
Fair play. If you've not, Andy is on the Red All Over podcast. If anyone's watching, please do check out that channel. A great channel for all things Barnsley. But let's get straight into it this morning. Okay, just a reminder to all those, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. So get your comments in for Johnny and Andy this morning. We'll get them up on the screen and discuss them. As I've already mentioned, it's been a tough season for both Reading and Barnsley this season. They've been competing in the lower echelons of the league for virtually all of the campaign. Let's just sum up both of your seasons first. Johnny, I'll come to you. I mean, what have you made of Reading's campaign this season? I suppose both for Reading and Barnsley, it's been a real stark contrast to last season, hasn't it? Johnny, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been our anniversary season, and to be honest, it's been a disaster from the start. I think, we had so many injuries at the start of the season, the whole transfer embargo, whether we're going to have points deducted, whether we're not. And that's just, hung over the season. And Paunovic, he had a tough deal to deal with. At the end of last season, we tailed off and never really picked up. We had a couple of spells there early on in the season, and we got a good win against Fulham, and then we kind of picked up against Swansea. But it's been really hit and miss, and having, I think, at some stage 11, 12 senior players out injured, has just hindered the whole thing, and it's been a slog. And now obviously Ince has come in, which and nobody expected. We had his son first, and then Dad came in as well. But he's steadied the ship, is in the fact that, I think the Bournemouth game, you really saw a difference where we went down to an early goal again. But second half, we played really well, got a goal, and actually could have gone on and won the game. And that followed on to the next game again. The sort of defensive steals there. Maybe a bit of luck, as a new manager gets. But it's certainly looking a lot more positive than it did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. As for you, Andy, from a Barnsley perspective, it's been a real tough season, and it was a phenomenal campaign last season, wasn't it? Reaching the playoffs. But what's gone wrong this season, and how would you sum up the Tykes' campaign so far?
I think you could just replay what Johnny said. Really, we started off with so many injuries, so it was scratch sides. The defence were different players and inexperienced players. And the first part of the season, we got such high hopes, after last season. So probably similar to Reading, we got such high hopes because we did so well last year, and got results last year that we didn't expect. This year, we thought, some people thought that we'd be back in the playoff mix. I thought we'd probably be mid-table because you're not going to have two good seasons like that if you're a Barnsley fan. It's not. It's too much to have two good seasons. But we expected to do all right. But yeah, a number of injuries. So young lads came in that'll be decent players in the future, but not quite ready for it. It exposed, the Championship's a cruel league. You make a mistake and you get punished. When we've played in League One, you make a mistake and they don't score. In the Championship, they always flipping score. They always score, unless it's us, in which case we don't. So it's been like that. And we, in my personal opinion, we had a disastrous appointment of Marcus Schopp as a head coach at the start of the season. Nobody knew at the time, but it turned out to be really, really poor. Then we've had Poya Asbaghi come in, and he's gradually got there. We were told by some of our Swedish viewers to keep the faith, because he lost the first. Well, he didn't win for the first like 11 matches, or maybe even 12 matches. But keep the faith. We got some draws, and it made us more difficult to beat. It went hard to beat us at one time, and it's gradually, bit by bit, turned it round. I think it could well be too late. You know, it could easily be too late, unless the same happens as last year, in which case Johnny will know Reading bottled it when it were us and them for the play.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, well, I was going to come on, John, and start saying, "Oh, they're going to," which I have done on our podcast. "Oh, they're going to bottle it again. They'll do the same as they did last year." But it was pointed out to me by another Alan Smith on our show, who said it's only a few years ago when we went down, having lost at at Derby at the last match, that we were vying for survival then with Reading, and it was us that bottled it. So that sort of destroyed my argument a bit. You know, I'm thinking Barnsley, we're going to battle through and Reading's going to bottle it. Well, it didn't happen about 3 years ago. So, you know, it's all to play. It's all to, well, if you win, it's not all to play for. But it's been, what it's also been characterised as some individual mistakes. And I mean, really silly mistakes that you don't expect from professional footballers. You don't expect it from Sunday morning footballers. But on the positive side, yeah, they played some good football as well. You know, it depends which Barnsley turns up. Sometimes we play some outstanding football, and we'll just see. It depends which Reading turns up and which Barnsley turns up. You know, we'll see, because Reading's got some really, really good players that we like, and you know that I like and we rate. You know,
it's so frustrating though, isn't it? When you see them play well, either team play well for a spell, and then it's like you're watching a different team almost. Yeah. One team the first half, a different team the second half, and then another game. It's like, who are these? Like, and you're kind of sitting there scratching your head, going, "What's going on?"
Well, the first quarter of the season, I don't think our team had ever played together or knew how to pass a ball. It was that bad. They couldn't find each other at all, let alone score. But more recently, some scintillating football.
Quick question for you, Andy. Do you feel there's been a bit of a turning point, hasn't there, for Barnsley over the last few weeks? Was there a particular result where you felt like that kind of changed it? I mean, that particular result against Middlesbrough really stood out for me as one that kind of, you know, changed the ship. Obviously, you had that positive result against Fulham as well. Was there a particular moment where you felt like, actually, we can survive? Because it felt for a long time that Barnsley were almost resigned to their relegation to League One this term. Was there a point where you felt, actually, we've got a chance here?
Yeah, for me personally, it was away to Hull. I was fortunate to be there, and I thought, well, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going. You know, we'd not won away from home at all season. We'd scraped a few draws, but lost most of them. And you just think, oh, it's. I used to live in Hull, so we went over to Hull for a few days. Me and a couple of friends, my wife and my friend and his wife, and had a few days over in Hull. So me and him, and he's a Wolves fan, a Wolves fan. So we went to the match. I dragged it. He thinks he's a lucky mascot. He thinks I should buy him a season ticket. He'll never go, but I should buy one because he's a lucky charm. And not only did we beat Hull 2-0, we absolutely pummeled them in the first half. It was only 1 team in it in the second half. We just, well, they didn't get close. It was just an all-round match. And to win 2-0 for the first time away from home, that made me personally think we can actually, if we wanted to, we could actually do it if we can maintain it. The difficulty, obviously, is maintaining that level of performance. And although we've had that performance a number of times in the first half, particularly, we sometimes faded away. I don't know if it's because we get tired or whatever. I don't know. Probably is. But we faded. Sheffield United, we played really well in the first half at Sheffield United. Lost 2-0 because we switched off a free kick outside the edge of the box. We're arguing the toss about the free kick, and they take a quick free kick down the flank and it's in, and we're still, hold on, there's a free kick been taken yet? So, things like that gets a bit frustrating when you go behind having been the best team so far on the day. But, it's part and parcel of being a Barnsley fan.
Comment coming in from Alan Smith. He only went to Hull because it was £2 a ticket for us seniors. I assume you know Alan there, Andy.
Yeah, he's on the show. Yeah. Well, it's even worse. We're even worse than that, Sam. We went for 5 days because we used to live in Hull. We went to university there, so we thought we'd make a week of it. It's a nice place. I'm not going to knock Hull. And yeah, I thought 27 quid a ticket it was supposed to be, but for seniors, because I'm knocking on, £2 again. So I offered to buy him his ticket at £2. But I went a bit silly. I really did go silly, Sam, because instead of picking it up from our box office, I paid an extra £1 for it to be posted. So I went £5. What makes it worse is that, no expense spared. What made it worse is because we're both knocking on a bit. We got our free bus passes. I used mine for the first. I got a free bus pass a week before COVID, so I never got a chance to use the flipping thing. So I used it until, so I didn't even have to pay any flipping bus fares to the game and to the stadium and back from the stadium. So it was a cheap day. £5.
Good
So,
stuff.
yeah. So
Cool.
he's right.
Right.
He's right.
Let's move our attention back to this Saturday's game. Johnny, let's come back to you then from a Reading perspective. A really, really valuable win last time out for the Royals against Blackburn at home. Johnny, just how important do you think them 3 points could be, heading into this game?
Oh, I think it's huge. That to get that win under the belt, and more. I think the new keeper that's come in, experienced. He's made a difference. Nyland, I think his name is. We had Southwood in there for a while who did well, but when a team's struggling now, I think we've let in the most goals in the league. It's a lot of pressure for a young keeper to have this guy's come in, a bit more experienced head. We look more organised. Guys like Morrison, Scott Dan, you kind of expected more from them. That the fact, how can we leak in so many goals with guys like that there? And obviously, guys that Drinkwater in the team. Laurent coming back and sort of having probably one of his best games of the season made a big difference. And they deserve to win, which is a huge confidence booster going in. But then since then, we've, now lost Andy Renamoto for the rest of the season. Yaku Meite's out. He's not been quite fully back to himself since he's come back from a long-term injury, but still handy to have, guy coming in for 10, 15 minutes. So the injury curse has struck again. So, Saturday, like we were saying earlier, who knows which team is going to turn up from both sides. But, if we play to our strength, and you think with Ince had 2 more weeks to work with the players that have not been away on international duty, on paper, as the old cliche is, that we have enough to beat them, especially with Lucas Jow up front, Swifty. We've got the options. Yedom back in right back. I think Babaraman's back at left back. But football doesn't work like that. We know that. Barnsley, I'm sure will come at us. And Reading hopefully will pick them off.
Yeah, going to be an interesting encounter in Yorkshire this Saturday. Right, let's look at the key men for both teams next. Okay, Andy, let's come to you then. Which Barnsley players do you feel could have a real say on this game at Oakwell on Saturday?
Oh, there's a few. Oh, we've got a team full of them. Sam. Johnny needs to be really scared. He needs to get himself worried about this match. Right, we've got Carlton Morris, who's mainly playing as a lone striker at the minute. He's a strong lad, and you can't give him an inch. I know you've got 2 good centre halves, and I hope they have an off day because we could do with it. But yeah, Carlton Morris, a strong lad, can shoot with either foot, powerful, and he'll battle and he'll never stop. Just behind him, there's we got on loan from Metz, which is a guy called Amin Bassi, and he's come in right at the end of the transfer window, and if he gets on the ball and you give him time, so please give him time. Don't
give all your secrets away.
Don't get close on him. So I hope there's nobody apart from you, Johnny. I hope there's nobody from Reading watching this. Give him plenty of space, and he'll cause damage. He's a skillful, crafty player, and he can pick a pass out. But if he gets marked out, then he won't. The other one that we've had on loan from, we got on loan from at the same time, really, from Watford. He'd been on loan to Fulham, but we're going from Watford. Domingos Keener. He's a player and a half. He takes some hammer. He gets fouled a lot. He also goes down a lot and all. But he gets fouled a lot. He's a quality player. He twists and turns, and you don't know which way he's going to go. He's a clever player, really clever player. So he's a bit of an attacking threat. We've got our new Hungarian international now, Callum Styles, who I'm not sure where he's going to be playing because I think he's played in most. I think he's only not played in goal, so he's played everywhere. Callum Styles, and he's a good player. When he gets on the ball, he's a good player. He's a smashing, only a young lad, but he's a smashing player, and he's got a good shot on him. So he could play wide on the right, he could play at left wing back, he could play centre midfield. He plays everywhere, and he moves about a lot, which is, a bit more fluid than we used to be. So he's one. Michael Hellick and Mads Anderson are the two centre halves. They're strong centre halves. Watch them for corners, because if Bassey puts in a good corner, they're there to challenge in the air. They're good in the air. So I wouldn't rule them out. And left wing back, we've got some right players. We've got Vita, who we've got on loan from. He's only a young lad. I think he's about 19 now. Vita from Bayern Munich, and he's like lightning. If you give him a chance to run it, he really is like lightning. If it comes together, it'll be a good performance. If it don't come together, it won't be. Quick, slick passing. If it comes off, it looks good. If it don't come off, it looks rubbish. So I would say that's not the only ones. We've got some. We've got some good players in our team. Callum Britton is a right back or right wing back, depending if we play 3 at the back or 4 at the back. He's good going forward. He can get across it and get us. So that we can cause problems all over the pitch if they're on the game. That's what it comes down to. If they're on the game. When I'm talking about keenness going down, I mean this tumble down. I don't know if you know this, but on our show, on the Red All Over show, we have a mascot called Tumble Down Ted, which is usually plays for the opposition. Somebody that tipples. Here he is, that tipples down easily. There he is. That's Tumble Down Ted. That tipple. You get in the penalty area and they tipple down. A bit like Lucas João. We remember him from Sheffield Wednesday. You can't knock him off the ball unless he gets in the penalty area. Then he's got innovative boots. When he gets in the penalty area, he's got retractable studs. And down he goes like a good one, whether anybody's near him or not.
He's crossing the line now.
He is the original. Lucas is the original Tumble Down Ted. So,
I hope they put that up on the team talk before the game.
Talking about him, watch for him. He'll go down.
Yeah. There we go.
Sorry, Johnny. I'm only kidding, Johnny.
Yeah. Too late now. You said it. It's live.
Johnny, from a Reading perspective, then, are there any players that Andy and the Barnsley team need to watch out for? I mean, John Swift was the player in the reverse fixture that scored the winning goal, but are there any other players you feel, Johnny, that could really make an impact on Saturday for the Royals?
And I just mentioned there, Lucas João. He's huge, having him back, and he has. He's got the skill he has with his feet. He does the ball's tied to his feet half the time. It almost feels like, and he creates those chances. He brings other players into the game. And we haven't had that this season. And obviously, you got Swifty. Swifty on his day is probably the top 3 players in the Championship. To be honest, he's that good. And obviously, I think he'll be got off in the summer, which is a shame. But best of luck to him. But we've got Tom Ince as well. I think he's really starting to show what he can do when he's got a run of games. He's always had the skill, the ability. It's not quite worked out wherever the last few seasons, but he's got a point to prove, and I think he's proven it. And the goal he scored against Bournemouth was superb. We've got the creative and the attacking players we have had all season, but letting goals is our problem, has been our problem for 90% of the time. The back 4, which I presume should be Roman, Yiadom, Holmes and Morrison, I guess. Yiadom's back from World Cup duty. With the keeper behind them now, you'd hoping that we will be harder to beat. Harder to beat, the 1-0s, 2-1s. That's the kind of result I'm kind of expecting. And we've got so much quality. Junior Hullett, El Jara, players that haven't really shown it consistently this season. But again, on the day, if they play well, we've got the quality to win the game easily. But we'll see.
Yeah, a similar sort of trail of thought from both of you there. You've got the players to win games, but it just comes about, moulding it all together and making it a cohesive unit, I suppose. Right.
Like Danny Drinkwater. We had Danny Drinkwater on loan from Man United and really rated him as a player. Really rated him and still.
Yeah, he's not really.
Reviews, hasn't he, at Reading, Johnny?
Hey,
he's received mixed reviews at Reading.
Yeah,
hasn't he?
Look, I think people go, "Oh, he's not interested because of his wage." On the day when he plays well, he's superb. But when the whole team's struggling, it's so easy to pick on a name, isn't it, as a blame game. But it's a bigger problem. The one player that we've had this season, it's been off the pitch with the owners, it's been on the pitch. Where do you start? But now it's like, the campaign the fans have got between all the fan sites. We need to get behind the team for this last 8 games. Whatever happens off the pitch is irrelevant now. We need to push on and treat every game like a cup final, and Saturday's the perfect start.
Absolutely. Right, let's look at some more details of this game next. Right, so let's look at the kind of approach to this match then, Andy. We'll start with you from a Barnsley perspective. How do you expect Poya Asbaghi to approach this game? Do you expect Barnsley to really come out and play on the front foot, or do you expect perhaps a little bit more of a reserved, cautious approach? How do you expect Asbaghi to play this one?
I expect us to be on the front foot. That's what we've normally done in the first half of every match. We tend to fade. That's the problem. We tend to fade. Even more so when we go a goal up. I think sometimes if we go a goal up, we decide that we're going to try and keep it. And it's not the Barnsley way, and it's certainly not this Barnsley team's way, because we can't hold on to a 1-0 lead, or rarely hold on to a 1-0 lead. So yeah, I expect us to go for it. We only play one up front, but we're a couple of players just behind him. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if we're going to play 3 at the back or 4 at the back, because we've done both recently. I think it'd probably be 4 at the back, but I don't know. But I expect us to be on the front foot. I expect us to go for it. If not, if you don't go for a game like this, that's for us as absolutely must win. I mean, if we draw, it's not the end of the world, because there's still 7 more matches, but it makes it incredibly difficult, more difficult. It's going to be difficult even if we win, to be honest. So if you're not up for this game, I don't know what game you would ever be up for. So I expect them to go for it and hopefully get some reward before we inevitably slow down in the second half and let Reading back into it. So yeah, we'll go for it.
We shall see. Had a few score predictions come in. Please do keep sending them in if you're watching this show live. Matt C on YouTube: Barnsley 1, Reading 1. I reckon draw a better result for us than Barnsley. I assume Matt is a Reading fan there. Right, we've had another question come in on YouTube from the Sky Blue View. Great to have your comments coming in. If Barnsley lose this game, do you accept League One next season? Andy, what do you make of that?
Well, I can see why somebody would think that. With 7 games, as fans, we've been saying we think we're going down from last November. So we've given ourselves a chance from having no chance at all. We've given ourselves a chance. And who knows, in the next week, it might be even worse. But no. Remember, we've got, apart from the 7 matches, we've got Easter coming up. And you always get some really weird results, hopefully in our favour, some really weird results of the Easter break. We have a couple of matches in a few days. So anything could happen. If it's League One, it's League One. I'll still get a season ticket and I'll still be there and still support them, At my age, I ain't got that many years left that I want to stop supporting them for a bit. I'll go to as many matches as I possibly can. But yeah, I wouldn't accept it, because if I say yes, I accept it, then we're saying to the players, you need to accept it, so stop trying. Don't bother for the last 7 matches. And if they're, I'll still bother. I do think that if we lose, it makes it incredibly difficult. If we draw with the next 2 matches that's coming up for both clubs, make it very difficult for us. We've got 2 away matches at where are we going to? Millwall away, and then Swansea away, and we never get anything at Swansea. And of course, Johnny's got home matches against Stoke and Cardiff. So even if we win, things could change in a week. A week's a long time in football, not just politics.
It's never going to be straightforward, is it? It's not going to be.
No, it's going to be twists and turns, and hopefully, the same happens as last year, that Reading bottle it. But I can't see it. I'm kidding, John. I actually can't see it. So I would accept League One. I mean, what we've got to understand, and I do feel for any club that go through this, Reading's they'd be out of sight. We'd be down. They'd be out of sight if it hadn't been for the 6-point deduction. And I don't. Apart from Derby, which I don't care about, I don't want any. They can go. They should have just been relegated. Apart from not just that. Apart from them, we don't want to stay up because of points deductions in other clubs, but it's the only chance we've got. Johnny's team would be out of sight if it weren't for that. We've had our own issues off the pitch, with fans and members of the club, the board not getting on. It happens, doesn't it, when you're having a bad season? It amplifies it. So, of course I'd accept leave, but not just on one match. I'll accept League One when there's nothing else to accept, when we're definitely down, which could be in a week's time. Who knows? I could be laughing. I could be laughing down Oakwell Lane. Who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows? Johnny, I'll pose a similar sort of question then to you. If the Royals do prevail and win on Saturday, are you expecting the club to stay up then? There would be an 8-point buffer there between Reading and Barnsley if a win did come in. Would you be feeling confident that the Royals would stay up?
Yeah, I think that again, 8 points. If you don't stay safe from there, 7 games to go, then there's going to be questions. I think a draw on Saturday would not be the worst result either. That unbeaten run keeps going, and the running we've got, there's winnable games, but again, you just can't pick it, can you? So I try to keep going game by game. You do all the permutations in your head. Well, they're playing them and they're playing them, and if we win this, we'll get that and they'll get that. It just wrecks your head. So just one game at a time. And, I think, if we Saturday, I think we'll start off and probably, dig in for the first 15, 20 minutes, prepare for the bombardment and then play ourselves into the game, and show our quality if, we've got the depth and the players to do it. So it'll be a close game. I can't see either side running away with it. I think it's going to be a 1-0 or 2-1, something like that.
Okay, right. I was going to say, let's get everyone's score predictions next. But Johnny, you've pretty much gave it to me right there. But let's get your score predictions next anyway. Right, Andy, it's time for your score prediction. How do you see this one going on Saturday?
I could tell you exactly what's going to happen. Barnsley's going to be winning 2-1. It's going to go to injury time. We're going to get Zhao going into the penalty area. His studs will retract. He'll go down. The referee, Keith Stroud, will give him a penalty. Zhao will step up and miss. So we'll win 2-1.
Wow, there we go, Andy. If that happens, fair play. Johnny, what are you going for then? What's your final score prediction for this one?
Well, if that happens, 50 will be taking the penalty and it'll be 2-2. But there we go. No, I'm going for 2-1 to Reading. I'm pretty confident, actually.
Okay, there we go. Well, Johnny, Andy, thanks for joining me on this morning's Under the Microscope show here on Football League World TV. It's been brilliant to get your thoughts ahead of Saturday's massive game at Oakwell. That's not all here from Football League World TV today. We've got a debate later on at 12 o'clock. We're going to be looking at Plymouth Argyle. Are they the real deal in League One? Well worth checking that show out. But once again, if you have not seen Andy's Read All Over podcast on YouTube, well worth checking out, and follow Johnny on Twitter for all things.
And a quick shout out for the 1871 podcast I'm on as well, if that's okay.
Of course. Check that out as well. Johnny's involved in that, so make sure to check that out. It's well worth listening to. But from myself, Johnny and Andy, this morning, we shall see you soon.